Hello and welcome to day 19 of my mental health Vlogmas. Today I want to talk about stress and vulnerability. Now, I've had this in the past where I've sort of seen someone dealing with a stressful situation, something similar to what I'm dealing with, and they seem to handle it absolutely wonderfully. They sort of don't seem to stress at all, and I get really frustrated because I'm like, why can that person handle this much stress and I can't? And I've heard similar stories from quite a lot of different people. And I think this is really down to vulnerability. So when you're more vulnerable, only a small amount of stress will push you from the state of wellness into illness. Whereas someone who has low vulnerability would need a much greater amount of stress to push them over into illness. So what does vulnerability really mean? What really influences it? Well, first of all, your genetic makeup influences your vulnerability. So some people are just more susceptible to mental illness than others, and it's just written in your DNA. But environment plays a very big role. So this could be sort of your childhood experiences, traumatic events. It could be the environment around you. Could be creating a more vulnerable state. And then there's thinking style. So as a society, we're sort of moving towards always criticizing people and always nitpicking lots of different things and just picking apart everybody on social media or at work, and it's really demoralizing and it really pushes towards a negative style of thinking. Whereas people who have sort of a more positive style of thinking are less vulnerable. There's sort of things bounce off them more, whereas when you're sort of more negative, you take it in and almost absorb more and more negativity. So that can really influence your sort of vulnerability. And then there's one that I think is really important, and that's coping strategies. Now, there are lots of good coping strategies and lots of bad ones. So if you're engaging in a lot of unhelpful coping strategies, whilst they might give some temporary relief, they're not really letting out your stress overall. So you just become more and more full of stress until you end up just bursting and becoming very unwell. Whereas if you had developed some good coping strategies that let out a little bit of stress every so often, then you wouldn't ever become so full of stress that you burst. You sort of almost just let a little bit of stress out every now and then, and therefore you'll be able to manage your stress levels more, and that you wouldn't become so distressed by things. So I think it's really important not to try to compare your problems to someone else, because we all have different experiences. So the person that you think is handling everything may not actually be handling everything as well as you think. They might be hiding their distress, or they might just have some very helpful coping strategies that help them reduce their stress levels and be able to handle things. So we're all individuals, and we've all had different experiences, and sort of comparing ourselves to other people is not very helpful, and pretty much always just leads to you feeling bad about yourself. So like the saying that there's always someone else out there who's got it worse than you. Okay, that's probably true for most cases, but it's not very helpful. Yeah, if something is troubling you and affecting your life, then that's important to you. And if someone else doesn't think that's important, then that's their problem, not yours. So yeah, especially with the holiday season coming up, try your best to be kinder to yourself, and try not to compare yourself so much to other people and how other people handle it. Focus on yourself and look after yourself. So yeah, my happy thought of the day is I went to the Christmas market with 2 friends from work. We had a really nice time, had some hot chocolate, some food, walked around some shops, and yeah, it was just really lovely time with some really great people. So yeah, so thank you for watching. As always, be kind to yourselves. I will link my previous vlogs in case you missed them, and I hope to see you tomorrow. So thank you. Bye bye.